Hi, YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay. I'm kind of going through some strange things. I'm going to talk today about manipulators and liars and protecting ourselves from those types of feelings. If you consider yourself like an empath, if you're like, especially like a mom, she's used to being the fixer and everything when kids are little and stuff. But once they're adults, um, I've noticed in our society that, yeah, the kids are struggling extra hard out there in ways that some of us might not have. Some. But in other ways that we know that we had survived through similar things and how we approached our lives through that type of thing. My first tip is um love everybody, trust no one. Then you're not going to be manipulated first right off the bat, because I mean, you can give them the benefit of the doubt up to a point, you know? Cheers. Um, okay, just a bit. Like they'll try and um well, if it's like bring you into drama, there's people that can control you by bringing you into their trauma. And if you're emotionally detached, stable in your own emotional balance, that makes it harder for people to manipulate you like that. Like, say, if they say something that's untrue, either about themselves or about you or about any given situation, if you know the person and they're known to have done some, maybe when people treat you poorly, if they've done it before, you have to believe what they showed you about who they are, and then you can make a determination whether or not you want to even hear what they're going to say, or even have a conversation about things, because if half of the conversation is untrue, nothing you say holds any bearing on the truth, you know. So it's a non-valid conversation. It's just their way to um, enhance the story, favoring them, and maybe even involving you to like shame or belittle or guilt trip or whatever it is. Just be careful, be guarded with your feelings with people, because they'll take you down. Um, if that's the way they operate, they'll do it with anybody and everybody. So you just have to be really careful, like I have learned to be. I mean, I wasn't this way always, and people think that I have changed or I've become mean or cold or whatever. No, I match people's energies. If they're standoffish, or I know that it's not the whole scope of the situation, because my instincts are like spot on. So when I sense something is off, I want to, as the investigator in me wants to get down to the bottom of it. And I ask myself, why? What is in it for this person to try and lead me down the wrong path? What are they gonna gain from telling me something untrue? you know, or if people are just trying to manipulate you to get an emotional response to cause you pain or something like that. Some people in my life, I've noticed, just get the biggest kick out of trying to hurt me. That's their thing. They live for that, it's like, wow, that's all you got, so you got to learn that this is who these people are. That's what they do, and there's nothing you can do about it besides determine whether or not you want to engage in their nonsense, and there's a lot of nonsense going on out here on the internet, isn't there? But if you're strong like me, like that, you just have to remember here's the key issue. You were whole before you met this other person that is trying to either demean you or whatever, just to make themselves feel better or whatever it is. Keep in mind, you were a whole person, all good by yourself before that other person ever existed in your life. And you'll be whole after them too. And that's how I've survived so many betrayals, one right after another. Um, I expect it. This world is full of people. It's beyond narcissism, it's psychotic. They're psychopaths because a emotionally balanced person doesn't need to um, use another person for fuel to enhance their selves. A normal person isn't vampiristic like that. The dark forces, the dark cabal is. So when you encounter these people, that's what that is. That's who they are. Don't forget it. Don't be tricked. Don't be fooled. Don't be pulled into trauma. Um, do not get emotionally attached. Detach. It doesn't matter if it's family member or who it is. You have to remember that you come first. Without you, there's no life for your life. You're number one. You know, doesn't matter if it's a parent, a child, a friend, a boss. You come first. I've walked. I've walked from, I got emancipated from my parents as a teenager. Got a job, my own place to stay, and proved to the state that in my mind, I was more of an adult to myself than they were. So that's, I call the day I divorced the Masons, which was no easy task. You don't ever completely get away from the dark cabal, but you can learn how to operate within it, not with them, within it. And they'll hate that because then you're already stronger than them. You're not only surviving and thriving, but you're doing it in chaos. You become the chaos. They want you to walk through fire. They push you off the cliff into the pit. Well, then rule that in place and put them in their place where they belong. That's my best advice. Don't hold back. I mean, you don't have to argue with these people, but don't hold back on your feelings. My favorite motto lately, not only I would rather die than lie, I would rather lose my soul than be a manipulative liar. But my new motto that I really like lately a lot is I'm going to love you as much as you let me, you know. And that's as simple as it gets right there, because if somebody else isn't investing the same amount of energy that you are into your relationship, um it's not a very good relationship. And they could say, well, that's because of you, but is it? Are you the dishonest one? Are you the one that has to plan and connive and make up seemingly um, viable stories to go along with your life that will alter the truth to appease somebody, you know. No, that's not you. That's the manipulator. That's their job. You just have to know what their job is. And it's too, like I shared Professor Sam on Narcissists from Nothingness or something channel. He's got a couple, three channels actually, I think, maybe more. I don't know. But a psychologist. Uh, the silent treatment when how to deal with that with people when they do that and the reasons why they will do that as a form of controlling you, you know, or punishing you or whatever it may be, you know. But I mean, I don't mind a confrontation with people. I mean, if they're shady and you know that they're just aching to pull you into some kind of traumatic argument or, like the narcissism word salad where they'll say something kind of off and then twist what you said and all of it that we know the traits and the tactics of these people and it's documented and they all do the same type of thing. So it's easy to understand the pathology of these people. You know, you just have to know the signs and who they are and understand what the tetrad of dark psychology and psychopathy is with these people. I heard somebody that's a master say that they didn't study psychology. Well, you're pretty good at it, but you might have wanted to study it a little more before you tried to make moves in my head, you know. Just saying. I have a few decades under my belt with that one. I'm an emotional martial artist too, not just a physical one. That's truly an art, being in control of your emotions, and it really is off-putting to the manipulators when you just give them a cold stare when they expect you to totally freak out or whatever, you just whatever. Just another one bites the dust. Hey, hey, another one bites the dust. Oh, whoa, whoa. Oh, it doesn't go like that, no. I think Freddie Mercury can sing that better than me. Anyway, good song, though. Excellent song. I'm known to play that when people piss me off. And it is true. Another one bites the dust, ashes to ashes, you know. They say fighting fire with fire. No, I have a bomb. Fuck your fire, you know. Know what the bomb is? Knowing what they're going to do before they're going to do it. That gives you all the ammunition you need to have right there, whether to engage or not to engage, So if you feel like it's playtime and you want to play with their brains like they think they're playing with yours, go for it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But if you're really truly sick of it, the best thing you can do is walk. Just go. Doesn't matter if it's parents, jobs, kids, whoever it is, if they're causing you distress and meaning to cause you that anxiety, and then try and pretend like there's some kind of guilt tripping or whatever it is. not willing to weigh the um, life uh, altering circumstances that we all have as human beings and interacting as compassionate human beings with one another. If you're confronted with that coldness, measure that coldness. In fact, up it. They want to see cold, be a ice cream cone, you know? Seriously, so. Or do like I do, kind of right in between. And then you can have that happy laughter within yourself. It could be a sad spot knowing that somebody wants to cause you pain, but you see it coming. You can laugh at them, or you could kind of cry for them too. But if you see it, you see it. It is what it is, move on. Like I say, you were whole before they came in your life, and you're going to be a whole person when they leave too. Always depending on yourself for that emotional support. If you don't put your emotional support in the hands, people say, well, um, surround yourself with your tribe and um, a supportive network and that type of thing. Yeah, if you're fortunate enough to be able to have another human in your life backing you, that's uh, something I haven't experienced on a full scale ever. So if you have that, you're really fortunate. You are. I mean, if somebody actually will go to bat for you anytime for any reason, unless if you're wrong. But I mean, if you actually have a supportive network, even if people are treating you bad, at least you have somebody you can tell about. Somebody that's actually going to care if you're hurt or whatever. But if you don't have that, you have to be strong for yourself. Otherwise, you're putting your emotional um, welfare in the hands of another person. And that's just not something I'll ever be willing to do. I'm too independent. So that's why people can't figure it out when they throw these weapons at me like Chinese stars, you know, um, and they bounce off. It's like, yeah, got more? I see you. That's why I can't be hurt because that's all people try to do. When you're strong, they're going to test you. And when your morals are different than another person's and they want to feel better about themselves, they may even somewhat admire you, but they'll never admit it to. They will not give you credit for the decent human being you are because they do not want to do that for themselves. But yet they will admire it to the point of hating you for it because they're not willing to make the sacrifices that it takes to be that strong. So, so that's what's been on my mind today. Just not letting people um, lead me wrong. I don't I don't follow, and that's why I don't. I know better. You know, this is my experience. I've always been the most compassionate and most intelligent person around me in my life. So why would I take emotional advice from somebody less stable? I wouldn't. That's why. So I'm always leery. Yeah, I have friends and I trust them up to a point. But the minute they do something shady, I mean, yeah, I keep track. What do you think? Like you do shit and I don't see it, or I don't remember it, or I don't expect more. You know, yeah. You always when once they show you who they are, that's who they are. You know, so then you have to determine in your life, does the bad outweigh the good, or does the good outweigh the bad in this person? How do they make me feel when I interact with them? Do they leave me with a good feeling inside where I want to come back and say, "Hey, I really enjoyed your company. Um, let's do this again." Or do they leave you kind of off put and you're like, "Oh, other people seem to like this person, but what are these other people?" You know, and are they all like that? And why am I the only one that didn't laugh at a joke that everybody else laughed at? Or, little things that make your moral compass maybe a little different than other people's. Um, what people find humorous, what people find acceptable could be so different that you have nothing in common with people, and it's going to leave you empty. It's going to hurt you interacting with them because they don't have the emotional depth you do. They're not well balanced, and there's a lot of mentally ill people in the world with the way things are. I mean, it's always been there. It's a little more prevalent in our society today. It's I think a lot to do with diet, music, our environments, yeah. People say that they're like a product of their environment. Mm, I don't buy that. Um, I was raised by people that I did not want to be like. And that's exactly how I went out into the world. I mean, there was some good qualities I garnered from them, the ones that they mostly exhibited in front of the public, for show, but how they acted within their home, there's most of the world that I would not emulate, you know. So I'm glad I'm as strong as I am for me. And a lot of other people I know like to lean on that strength. They like to um, interact with my strength or wait for me to console them in their hard times. But nobody's ever been there to console me in my hard times. So I've learned not to be consoled. That's a coldness that's undescribable. It's not a bitterness. It's a coldness where there's nothing there because I've never had anybody bring that out in me for them. I mean, it's under the surface. It's there. But it's something I don't use because people aren't worthy like that. Yeah, it's not if you don't have a relationship where it's emotionally balanced and it's a give-give situation, it's just a give-take, um, you have to decide when you're done giving, when they've taken enough, you know. I didn't have much to say yesterday. If I had said something, um, I was a little pissed off, and people don't understand. There was some some talk about Ukraine, and people that don't understand that Israel and Ukraine are it's Judaism mostly, and these are Ukraine, we know, is a money laundering and trafficking spot working with Israel. We know it for a fact. And Zelensky and Bibi, all of them, Trump, all of them, Putin, they're all in bed together. They eat steaks at the same table, plan out their war games for the money that will be gained and the sacrifices that will be made, while everybody else is oblivious to the fact that they're all related. It just, so when people don't understand that this dark cabal, this political bullshit that we're forced to comply with, I don't. I've got videos speaking out against the treasonous government not even being a part of the United States. Just that alone is enough to make people think, what? Yeah, the state, um, not the state, the District of Columbia doesn't pay taxes like the rest of the states. No, they don't. That's why they live there, most of them. But that's why they have that as an operational system where they can have immunities with their dual citizenships and the rest of their bullshit. That's why I want them out of the United States. If Israel wants to fly a flag in one of the United States, then they should turn their country into the United States and incorporate like that. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here. So, anyway, if you don't understand what's going on in Ukraine and you think any of these wars are justified for any reason, I mean, yeah, lives have been lost. And if you're living there, you're going to want to fight so the people that you love and care about aren't getting hurt. There's no doubt. There's nothing that the people of the world can do except that when you're confronted with a war, if you have no choice but to participate in that. But if you have a choice, stay away from it. That's my recommendation. If somebody's on your land and they're trying to hurt you or your loved ones, yeah, you have every right to do what you need to do. But to take a political stance or a side in these trumped up things is foolish, especially with the tunnels under Gaza and the trafficking and the money laundering and all of it. So that's why I'm not going to listen to somebody try to soft soap me, um, like uh, try to guilt trip me for not having compassion. Oh, I do. I telepathically tell people if they can get out of there, especially the women, don't fight those men's wars. Let them fight them themselves. All these presidents, they should be fighting in the ring by themselves. If I have a beef with somebody, I get to them personally. I take care of it. That's me. I don't sit behind the sidelines and manipulate other people and try and do what I gotta do. I take care of business. there's no civilized humans anymore. Most people are so animalistic and lack control, lack emotional intelligence, lack intelligence, period. Um, so I just wanted to talk on that, how I stay unbothered, sane, and happy because first off, there's a gazillion people out there that will want to use and manipulate you. So if you find the golden ones that would never do that to you or I, hang on to them. If if you run across people with virtues, righteous virtues, yeah, yeah, that's a big one. If you have friends like that or relatives, hang on to them, cherish them, because they're rare, very rare, you know. Or people that, even if you had like a messed up younger life or whatever, and you find strength to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and become happy and become moral and become stable and virtuous and all that, um, you can be a success story but the same old crowd that you hung around with isn't going to get you where you want to go. Um, if you want things different, you have to either be alone or surround yourself with people, like-minded people, and that's what I'm looking for. Somebody, hey, anybody thinking on the same level here at all, anywhere? Maybe a couple people, so yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that's I know a few people, or a few, I know of plenty of people that are suffering from what we used to call players, or manipulators, jive talkers. Oh, that's a good song. Jive talking. I think it's the Bee Gees or Casey and the Sunshine Band. Probably the Bee Gees. Yeah. So, okay, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you soon. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.